Now, strong winds overnight have caused more power outages across southeast Queensland. More than 320,000 people are without power, with more blackouts occurring across the state overnight. For more now, we're joined by Energex Brisbane North Area Manager Chris Graham. Chris, thanks for joining us this morning. A very busy time for you and your crews. How is the situation looking for power outages across Queensland?
Yeah, thanks, Richard. As you said, last night we were hit again by significant wind that caused an additional 80,000 customers to go without power in the southeast region, as well as 20,000 customers in the Toowoomba region. So an extra 100,000 customers that went off last night. That was on top of the first night of ex-tropical cyclone Alfred, and the Gold Coast have been copying some weather before that. So significant numbers of customers that have been impacted.
Because I think the weather last night caught a lot of people off guard. People weren't expecting such strong winds to sort of hit Brisbane and parts of southeast Queensland, and that's what's caused a lot of these extra blackouts.
That's right. Yeah, I think everyone has thought the main wind threat had passed, but in many parts of Brisbane, anecdotally, the information is that we're receiving is the wind had been stronger than the night before. And that had caused a lot more damage. We've seen. We managed to get 70,000 customers back on yesterday, and only to have an extra 100,000 customers get turned off last night. So it has been very challenging conditions for everyone.
How long do you think it's going to be before power is restored to all those customers?
Yeah, so it's a really challenging question. So we'd been doing damage assessments yesterday, and we had been getting a fair idea of the amount of damage and the restoration times. But because of last night's wind and the impacts there, we're going to have to do a lot of those damage assessments again. It might be that we can get significant numbers back on today, and we will be working through as soon as it's safe to do so with our crews to get as many customers back on as soon as we possibly can. But in some of those worst affected areas, there's going to be potential for a prolonged outage. We just don't know those exact times until we get that damage assessment done.
And so, how long should people prepare for prolonged power outages? Should it be a couple of days for some people in the worst affected areas?
Yeah, so some of the advice we've been giving earlier is that there is the potential for those severely impacted areas that it could be up to a week, but it really will depend on individual circumstances, what the condition of the access is like for us. We had crews yesterday, we couldn't get them in to areas. When I was driving home late last night, I saw a lot of our heavy equipment had been rolling in, so we'd pre-deployed it outside of the Brisbane area, ready to bring in, and I saw that rolling in last night. So that was our tracks, elevated work platforms and borers and things like that, a lot of generators that were rolling in. We've got over 240 generators that'll be either already deployed or ready to be deployed to try and get different pockets and parts back on. We're really focusing on those essential services. We got Gold Coast Hospital back on yesterday. The water treatment plants that might be impacted, sewage treatment plants, evacuation centres, they're our main focus to start with. We'll do that damage assessment, we'll work methodically through, and we'll get every single customer back on as soon as we possibly can. Because
this is actually one of the biggest events that so many people to be knocked out with power that's ever happened in Queensland.
That's correct. As of yesterday, before last night's event, that had already been a record-breaking event as the biggest natural disaster event to affect electricity in Queensland's history, and I'm not sure about the rest of Australia, but it is a very significant event. And we've got 1,200 of our local crews, field crews, ready to roll. We've got 800 extra ergon staff ready to come in, and then we've got our support staff, we've got our control room staff, we've got our logistics staff, planning lead, resource leads, all that sort of team. We've got a huge team behind the front line as well, and we're all dedicated to getting the power back on safely to our customers.